you never say never. I mean, just like anything else. And the wrestling industry is, and again, this is just purely my opinion, is completely different than being on a hockey team or being on a baseball team or anything like that. It's the guys that actually do look for the greater good of just the business itself, as opposed to how was my last match. Why do I ask everybody how my last match was? My self-esteem is that is driving me nuts. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that. Okay. You can edit that.
Yeah, I'll edit that out.
Yeah. I don't even remember where I was. What was I saying?
About your last match.
Yeah. Couldn't have asked for a better place, better time, better opponent, better feeling afterwards. With truth be told, again, going back to 40, and this is one of the reasons I'm hanging it up, because I'm still feeling it. That was a week ago.
Yeah.
But I loved every second of being in it. There was, I might show up at a show, throw a referee shirt here and there. Managing is a possibility down the road. Reginald Birch seems to be really looking after that role quite well in the Maritimes. But you just look back at the days in the 80s when there was WWF at the time, actually, and they had a handful of referees, and they all were their own little character onto themselves, and it helped get the guys over. Now, at the same time, most of the guys that I want to be around are already over, so they don't need me.
And honestly, to put the women over a little bit, I think now, especially with the women's sports being so big, I think you're going to see more and more women wanting to be in the ring, and less valets, which opens up, a door for more managers.
It's funny. My daughter was at the IWK show, and it was her first experience with wrestling, and she was just enthralled with it all. And she had come to the training school with me and saw some guys rolling around taking some bumps, and she was chomping at the bit to get in there.
Yeah.
And so I started telling her about Maddie.
Yeah.
That you guys just really want to be on camera, don't you? And I told her how old Maddie was, how long she's been training, and honestly, she's probably the most booked wrestler in the Maritimes right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Hands down. I don't think anybody's getting more bookings than Madison. She's wrestled more matches this year, because it's only been about a calendar year since she finished training.
Yeah, she's also already in her 50th.
Yeah, I mean,
matches. Yeah.
that's. I think I was 3 years before I got that.
Yeah.
That count. You know what I mean? So our matches are just progressing. And that was another thing that Kevin and I had mentioned was this little feud, this deal that she's got going with Chris Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most entertaining wrestling in the Maritimes right now.
Absolutely.
And hats off to Chris Hicks too, because he's, entertaining as all get out. A really good worker, knows his gimmick, and rolls with it. And it's like he's the perfect fodder for Maddie's babyface gimmick. Like it just.
I'm building up to a big podcast with Chris Hicks on my show because everybody puts him over.
I will be
on every
that.
episode.
And you know what? I barely know the guy, but just from seeing him in a couple shows and watching his stuff, I think I've only maybe physically met him twice, but he's a hell of a guy.
He's taken that character and that gimmick and run with it.
Well, he can work pure comedy, plus he's got this edge to him. You know what I mean? Like it's just, again, as a fan or as a worker, he's a fun guy to watch. Doesn't matter where he is on the card. You're going to get. He's going to be entertaining your ass. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
And all his matches are good.
Absolutely.
Great matches.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
I would have liked to work.
Yeah.
You know what? I have a short list of. Actually, I shouldn't say short list. There's a whole bunch of guys that I would have liked to have gotten in there with. But watching his stuff, I would have loved to get in there and do a little program.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So last thing we're going to do here, just go over the card from the IWK show in Tallinn. So I was privileged to be asked to be the ring announcer for that show. I was thrilled to do it.
You did a great job, man.
Thank you. It was the first time I had ever done something like that, and I had an absolute blast.
Good, man.
I'm itching to do it again.
So glad you were part of it.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah. Thanks, and I'm itching to do it again. So the card started was the first match was The Answer and Titus.
Can't go wrong there.
Can't go wrong there. For a great way to start the show. There's not much to say about the match. It was a great match.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with those two.
God, Titus, I can't I can't think of a bad match that he's ever had.
No.
I don't think it exists. So, yeah, a hell of a way to open the show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was
Definitely,
great. It was great. And then we had next we had was it you
It
and
was that James Liberty guy.
yeah, it was James Liberty.
Yeah.
Came out and had an open challenge for his IHW Television Championship, which was answered by Tatamagosha's own Jim Joyce.
That's right.
Jackson Fury.
Yeah.
I thought you guys had a great match.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
thanks. You know what? I wasn't sure at first because you're always, self-esteem was always a
Right.
big issue for mine. And so I was wasn't even sure after. They say you should know if it was good or if it was crappy. I was unsure. And the boys came and started putting it over. And in intermission, the fans were putting it over. Then I watched it back. I was like, that wasn't bad. That was a really good match. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah.
And again, credit goes. I mean, yeah, he kicked my ass. I was that close for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Better man won. Yeah,
he's just now getting his stride in IHW, and I just can't wait to see where he goes. From
Oh,
there.
you watch what he can do.
Yeah, he's a great talent.
Yeah.
Next, we had the Vision Pro Wrestling Interprovincial Championship or champion versus the heavyweight champion of Vision Pro, which was Shane Stevens versus Chip Chambers.
Again, you're not going wrong there.
I've seen those guys wrestle each other. I couldn't say how many times. You know, between IHW, Vision Pro, and Halifax, they never have a bad match.
You know what? I don't think either one of them have had a bad match separately. So
Yeah.
to put the two of them together, I mean that's a reason to buy a ticket
Absolutely.
on any show.
Yeah.
That match, those two guys together separately is one thing, but the two of them together should and will sell tickets.
Oh yeah.
And they certainly didn't disappoint there.
No.
Not at all. No.
So Chip went over. Sorry, Titus went over in the first match. I forgot
Right,
that.
yes.
And then Chip went over in the second match. The next match was champion versus champion again. Was Red Rock champion Mike Hughes versus IHW champion Greg Stone. These guys are both massive individuals. They had a pretty hard-hitting match. It ended with Brody Steele interfering at the end.
That Brody Steele.
Yeah, on behalf of Mike Hughes. And Chip Chambers came for the save to save Riddick, which set up the tag team match for the main event.
Right.
Which was Cardinal Sinners reunion there. So
Always a bit of a mark when that happens.
Yeah,
I used to watch
yeah.
those guys when I was, a young fella. Not a super young fella, but still following around 17, 18 years old. And those guys used to scare the shit out of me then, let alone now.
yeah.
But awesome performance. Good booking, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the main event came out, we'll get to the main event in a few minutes, but when I ring announced the main event, I couldn't help but mark out myself that I was introducing the Cardinal Sinners.
Yeah.
Which 15 years before I was sitting front row watching them come in, so it was kind of a surreal moment for me.
I just do my best to stay out of their way, but
Yeah.
that's
I'm the same thing. Peter scares the crap out of me. So.
Yeah.
And then after that, what was the next second kind of?
What came of that? Why are we having a hard time?
Oh,
it was Kilgrave and Spider-Man.
Kilgrave and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which ended with Spider-Man winning by count-out. With Kilgrave getting stuck in the penalty box.
Yeah, that was genius.
Yeah, that was pretty
fun.
entertaining.
Yeah, I ref that match. I had a hard time not laughing. See Kilgrave banging on the glass even after the bell went.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
And then we had an intermission. And then I feel like I'm missing a match. Because the next wouldn't have been the main event.
I think the Kilgrave Spider-Man was after intermission.
After intermission.
Yeah, so
I still feel like we're missing one.
Oh, I don't want to get heat for this.
No, neither do I.
Oh boy. Well,
I'm trying to think of who was in the locker room that day. Maybe
no, that was it.
Maybe we're not forgetting anybody.
Yeah, if we did, we're going to scrap this and start over.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Well, the main event was the Cardinal Sinners versus Chip
and Josh.
Chip and Josh, which
they're sort of Riddick. Oops.
Riddick Stone.
Oops.
That match was good too, man. It was a different style. It was a lot of different styles. Like
Well,
having Chip in that mix was different.
It's very interesting because at first, I mean, you look at that ring when everybody's making their entrances, and I mean, you don't look at a ring and see that much man in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's a lot of pounds of professional wrestler in a ring. I mean, you got Titus was supposed to be in that match actually. You get Reddick Stone, huge man, and a hell of a worker as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brody Steele, probably the biggest man around. And Mike's a huge individual as well. Like, I mean, I come up with all of these guys belly button standing on my tippy toes. Like,
Yeah.
These guys are huge. And then you get the snap and the panache of chipping in there, which just shows me that he can work with anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't have to be just a bang, bang, bang match. Like, he's boy can bump and he can sell and he can get the crowd behind him as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was awesome. Yeah, that was a great match.
The thing that I remember most about that match was right at the beginning, when all four guys are kind of squaring off in the middle of the ring, and Peter, with his deep, intimidating voice, looks at Chip and says, "You don't know what you're getting yourself into."
Of course.
And I had chills when he said that, or said something along those lines. I don't want to quote him, but it was something like, "You don't know what you're getting into," or "You don't know what's about to happen," and that chilled me to my core.
Well, you know what? Knowing what I know, if I were Chip, I'd still feel the same way standing there.
Yeah.
You know, after having, there's nothing more intimidating than Peterson.
No.
I mean, like, yeah, I would not want to be across the ring from him. I'd do it, but I would not want to be there.
Now that picture of those four standing there and him saying those words, I was like, man, this is something for a DVD somewhere.
Absolutely.
Like that. But no, it was a good show, man. I'm looking forward to it next year. Like, it's my second time I attended it. It's becoming part of the.
It's gonna take no.
I think it's becoming part of the fabric of maritime wrestling now.
Well, you know what? That would be amazing if it does. I mean, the proceeds go to an amazing cause. That's the big thing. And it's, again, I like the idea of it being that show where the guys are actually look forward to doing it.
Yeah.
Not so much it's a weekend away. You know what I mean? It's not. There's no pressure. It's just an easygoing environment. And I've been backstage with every one of those guys at different shows, and the vibe was completely different. Mm-hmm. And it was I'll always look forward to it.
For sure, yeah. Well, Jim, man, I appreciate you being on the show and having us over.
Thank you.
Yeah, and guys, thanks for joining us, and stay tuned. I am gonna have a podcast reviewing the UCW tour that just happened. Stay tuned for that, and I'll be letting you guys know when that's gonna happen.
And share it.
Absolutely, like, share. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Share it.